yourself with your brother and sister in the Lord. I say this because each and one of us individually have our own ministry in the Lord to attend to. Remember when the disciples asked among each other if anyone gave Jesus any food? And Jesus said, I have food that you do not know of, and that is to do the will of the one who sent me and to accomplish his work. Each and one of us individually have food to eat while we're still in this earth. Each and one of us, right, have that duty, right, to go out and give the gospel to people. But it's not gonna look like the other person's ministry. Okay? As long as you continue to compare yourself with your brother and sister in the Lord, right, you will fail. You know why you will fail? Because while that person is focused on the Lord, right, and you're not understanding why this person is flourishing in the Lord and you're not, it's because you've been focused on their plate of food and you haven't been focused on your own plate of food. And so you see them flourishing. You see the blessings, right, that God has given them, and that's because their focus is in the Lord. Okay? And so what I want to say is, Peter can only be a Peter. John can only be a John. James can only be a James, right? Who else? Paul can only be a Paul. Mary can only be a Mary. We are individually in the body, and we're getting our growth from the head, who is Jesus Christ, right? We need to deny ourselves. We need to let go of that flesh where we have that competitive nature of wanting to do what the other person is doing, right? Or being jealous and envious of that other person. We need to let go of that, and we need to let God move through us, as Philippians chapter 2 verse 13 actually says, right? For it is God who is at work in us, both to will and to do his own good pleasure, right? We need to just die. We need to die. And God does it for us. We don't do it ourselves. But when we continue to lean closer and draw closer to God, right? We continue to wear the cross, right? On our shoulders, right? And we allow him to move, right? And it is what it is. Remember when Peter was focused on John's fate? In John 21, verses 20 to 23, Peter asks us about John's fate. And Jesus gave him an interesting response that we shall all take heed of, right? It reads, Peter, turning around, saw the disciple whom Jesus loved following them, the one who also had leaned back on his bosom at the supper, and said, Lord, who is the one who betrays you? So Peter, seeing him, said to Jesus, Lord, what about this man? Jesus said to him, if I want him to remain until I come, what is that to you? Right? He said, if I want him to remain until I come, what is that to you? You follow me. And so we need to follow Christ. We need to keep our eyes on Christ. If you want to continue to flourish and prosper, your eyes and direction has to be on Christ. Stop looking at what the other person is doing. Yes, be happy and thankful that your brother in the Lord is actually doing the work of the Father, right? And because if you truly love God, you would actually be happy that your brothers and sister is actually doing the will of the Father. Because you love your Father so much that you're seeing that members is actually of the body is actually doing the work that God has called them to do.